So in the previous lecture, we had seen how threatening someone can be a crime under section 503. In this lecture, we will see if insulting someone or abusing someone can be an offense. Yes, insulting someone can be an offense under IPC. If a person intentionally insults another person to provoke him, which he knows is likely to cause breach of peace, then such person will be guilty under section 504 of IPC. Insult here means contempt of a person's dignity. One of the common way of insulting someone is by using abusive language against him. Many people use abusive words while talking to each other, but not in every case a person can be booked under section 504 for using abusive words. A person will be guilty under section 504 only if he uses abusive language against the other person in order to insult him, and he knows that the other person will be provoked by such abusive language and is likely to cause breach of peace or commit an offense. Whether the abusive words are provocative is a question of fact and will be decided based on the facts and circumstances of each case. It is important to note that to book a person under this section, it must be proved that the person intentionally insulted someone. If the person had no intention to insult, then he cannot be booked under this section. So now let's look at the conditions that must be fulfilled to convict a person under section 504. Condition number 1. Accused person intentionally insulted some person. So as I said before, intention is important here. If there was no intention to insult, the person cannot be charged under this section. Condition number 2. The accused person intended to give provocation to the other person. This means the accused person should intentionally or knowingly insult someone to provocate him or to make him angry. Condition number 3. The accused person must intend or know that the other person by such provocation is likely to breach public peace or commit an offense. It is not necessary that such other person actually breaches the peace or commits the crime. It is enough if the provocation is such as is likely for a normal person to cause breach of public peace or cause him to commit an offense. If these three conditions are met, the person will be guilty under section 504. Let me give you an example. A group of friends goes to a pub to party. Now, this one guy in the group, he's habitual of using abusive language while talking. So he uses filthy language for one of his friend's mother in a fun way. But the other friend, he gets offended and he starts to fight with the person who abused. Here, the friend who abused is not guilty under section 504. Why? Because he never abused with an intention to insult and provoke his friend. He abused in a fun way. He is habitual of using abusive language with everyone, but that is not meant to insult someone, so he cannot be made guilty under this section. Now let's change the facts and circumstances of this example. A group of friends goes to a pub to party. One of the friends, say Mr. A, requests the other friend, Mr. B, to pay for his beer. Mr. B refuses to pay. As a result, Mr. A started abusing him to insult him in front of his other friends. This provokes Mr. B and he tries to hit Mr. A, but he was stopped by other friends in the group because they didn't want any fight to happen in the pub. Here, Mr. A will be guilty under section 504. All three conditions of section 504 are met here. Mr. A intentionally insults Mr. B. Mr. A knew that such insult will provocate Mr. B. Mr. A knew that his behavior can cause Mr. B to breach public peace or cause him commit an offense. It doesn't matter whether Mr. B actually breached the public peace or committed an offense. If it is proved that provocation was such that a person is likely to breach public peace or commit an offence that will be enough to convict Mr. A under this section. This offence is punishable with imprisonment which may extend up to 2 years, or fine, or both. The offence is non-cognizable, bailable and compoundable.